Well, if you're like me, you've gone to Savi's in the past and you've done some of the Savi's builds and you've really enjoyed it. You started collecting all of the different pieces, the scrap, as they call it, from Disney whenever they had them available for purchase. You may have a bunch left over, just kind of sitting around, not knowing what to do with them. We're going to talk about an option that you have next. So stick around. Well, thanks for joining me today, and we're going to be talking about an option you guys may have if you've purchased Savi scrap pieces in the past, or if you happen to have purchased some from a scavenger smuggler who was going and doing some builds, for them to be able to get one of the actual chassis to be able to sell. You probably have bought some of the scrap from them, the ones you may be looking for to try to complete your set. Well, as we all know, these things here can get kind of expensive to buy to be able to do all that because of electronics and everything. But I mean, who needs, 8 different ones of these to be able to have all of the scrap that's available at Galaxy's Edge? Have you ever thought about what would be a different option to be able to display these, even though, you may not be able to have it with electronics? I mean, I've got 2 of these, I think maybe 3, but that's just because I went and did the builds with myself, my wife, and my son. They all wanted to do one of the builds, so we've got a couple of these, but I didn't want to spend as much money to get 8 of them. So I started searching, and I actually came up with an option that you may be interested in to help you out with that. Let me get you over to a full screen on here. Before we get to it, let me go ahead and say, if you like the videos that I'm putting out here for you guys, do please like and subscribe down in the corner. Hit that notification bell so that way you are notified when these videos go live. So I do appreciate it when you guys do that, because it does help the channel out to be able to grow so we can put more and better content out for you guys. With that being said, let's go ahead and talk about what the options are. So we've got the Savi's display, or the Savi's chassis. Now there's many people out there that I've seen that have started making dummy chassis that I see. I've seen them on Etsy, and I purchased one myself one time and said, you know what, I think I can make these. So I actually did start making some about a year and a half ago. I ran into some issues because of design flaws that I found that made them very brittle, made it where they were breaking easy. So I started dabbling with it, trying to figure out what's the best way to fix this problem that's out there with the ones that I see on Etsy. So I redesigned it some to try to make it better, and I came up with my initial design. Now, some of you may have bought this in the past from my Etsy store, which is Bendu Galactic Supplies. The link will be down in the description below. But even after I went and did the work on it to try to reinforce it, I still ran into some issues. Some of it was because it's printed in PLA plastic, which is a filament, and it tends to be brittle if you try to put too much torque on it. Just because of the way that the filament is designed, it's just not that strong in comparison to some of the other filament options that are out there. If you go on YouTube, I'm sure you can go out there and look and see and do searches for, filament test between PLA, PLA Plus, PETG, ABS, different options out there like that. The issue I also that I ran into was I started making designs. I wanted to be able to provide designs for everybody to be able to use with their displays. If they had them, up on the wall like I do right here, so that you could say, this is this design, this is that design. So I started making the designs on the emitter end. Well, I ran into issues where I didn't like the quality that I was getting. And I'll show you here up close. You can see that it just really, if I can get it to focus, really just wasn't giving me the quality that I was looking for on the design. I mean, you can see in the lines and stuff on there, it just doesn't look near as good as what I would hope it would. So I decided to go back to the drawing board. I haven't had these available on my Etsy store for probably the better part of 8 or 9 months, because I was trying to fix these problems, fixing the brittleness, fixing the design, you know, as far as the detail and everything on here. Also had issues where the parts weren't lining up properly. I had complaints about that. So I took them off my store, decided to go ahead and redo them again, and I've gone and done that. Plus, I decided to print them in a different way. So instead of doing PLA, I decided to go with resin. And oh my gosh, I tell you what, it's made a world of difference between how the designs came out. Just to show you here on the ends, if I can get it to focus for you, you'll see how much better the detail is on there between what was originally being printed and what I'm doing now. I mean, there's a much better detail option on there. This was one of the other ones that I made that I tried to do a little bit better, and it came out somewhat better, but just not still as crisp and clean as resin did. So I decided to go ahead and try the resin. I've made a number of different designs, and you can see how clean, you know, the detail is even on the end here for the elemental nature. So the picture I'm going to show you here has 15 different designs that I've come up with to be able to have that you can select from on the Etsy store. One design I'm working on still, which will be number 16, will allow you guys to be able to actually put a Savi's blade in the emitter end if you want to be able to display them with blades and not have to spend the amount of money that it costs to be able to get a full Savi's chassis. So you may be asking, how well do the parts fit on these? Well, I'm going to show you, because I'm actually going to put the same pieces on the ones for this design, which is the protection and defense. I'm going to use some of the scrap that I have for that. We're going to put it on here, and I'm going to show you how they fit. So it's going to fit just the same way that your regular Savi's chassis do. I mean, they go on. I have the notches in there so you can see the different size notches on there for your switch plates, so that they will just slide in place. And let me get it lined up, and they go on there, and you can see, you know, they don't fall off. They're nice and snug, so they easily come back off, just like they would if you're putting it on a regular chassis, and they just snap in place. So they fit on just like your regular Savi's does. So we'll go ahead and put the different pieces on, and then I'll show you just how well the parts line up. If you have this set yourself already, you'll be able to go in and look and compare your Savi's to how my display chassis lines up. Go ahead and get all the pieces on here. So as you can see, everything lines up perfectly with the threads. I've gone in and made sure that the thread patterns sit exactly the way they're supposed to be, so that everything lines up in order just the way that they should. And then on the emitter end, you can see the logo lines up as well. So this is an option that you guys have if you decide that you want to be able to display your scrap pieces without spending the money to buy an actual Savi's chassis. The link for these are down in the description down below. These are going for $40 a piece currently, being that they are printed in resin. They are very sturdy. They will not break. I will recommend, however, using some silicone grease, just like I use, so that you can make sure that your threads don't get damaged. It just helps the pieces be able to stay on, or not stay on, but thread on properly and easily. It'll also make it to where you won't have to worry about the threads wearing out as quickly, because these are not ABS plastic, but the resin that I use to print it with are ABS like resin, so they should give you the same look and the same structure and integrity and strength of ABS plastic. So thanks for your time. I do appreciate you guys stopping by. If it's something that you're interested in, definitely look down there below in the description. I would love to be able to make one of these for you, or multiples if you'd like. While you're at it, again, hit that like and subscribe button down here in the corner. Tick the little notification bell so that way you get notified when the videos do go live. Our socials are across the bottom down here. That's where you're going to get the most up-to-date notifications as far as when the videos are going to go live and what day that they will go live, date and time. So thanks again for joining me. I do appreciate it. I look forward to building some of these for you guys. And as always, may the force be with you.